Alright. So today's project is going to be to replace these horns. I honestly think only one is working right now, but here's what it sounds like. It's pretty weak. Saab's a luxury car and it kind of sounds like, "Excuse me, could you move aside?" But I'm going to put these in there. Hella trumpet horns. I wanted to say, get the fuck out of the way. So I'm going to walk you through as quickly as possible how we go and do this. Alright, so for this project, what are you going to need? You're going to need a knife. The knife is there just so you can cut this electrical tape. Or a lighter, or a heat gun to shrink some shrink wrap. You're going to need a pair of wire cutters. They don't always look like this, but I like these better than the old school ones. You're going to need wire, of course. I know it's in a bit of a disarray. Didn't really open that well. And people always ask me, "Andrew, does the gauge of wire really matter?" Well, I don't know. Does your car not catching on fire matter? Yes, the gauge of wire sometimes matters when you're working on electrical things. Luckily for you, in this case, it doesn't. You kind of want to try to get the gauge to match the proper gauge that of the wires that you're going to be cutting. This is such a simple project. I mean, electricity is so hard to work with, and the gauge does matter, like I said in other projects, but you should be in the clear. I believe this is a 14 gauge, but definitely take a look at your car. Speaking of butts, you're going to need some butt connectors, some female connectors, and your imagination. Alright, so your first step, remove the bumper. I didn't go ahead and show you how to do this thing just because it's different on every vehicle, but general purposes, you're going to have bolts here. You're definitely going to have little push tabs here, and possibly another bolt right there, and then there's some at the bottom. Don't force it. Look it up. Look it up in the Haynes manual. YouTube it. But get your bumper off. They're all going to be slightly a bit different. After that, we need to go ahead and locate the old horns. This one's been damaged. I ripped it off because I had to slide the cold air intake in there, and this thing's just been kind of dangling. I just kind of discovered that that is a second horn, and it is not working for some reason. You don't really have to be overly gentle with the connectors, because if you want to install an aftermarket one, you are going to need to cut them. So go ahead and remove them. A little hard to do with one hand, but we'll see what we can do. Nope. Yeah. Old one. Don't really need it. Just set it aside. Same thing with this one. Old one. Just make sure you disconnect the connectors, and you're going to take it out of there to be replaced. Now, while you're looking at the exposed behind the bumper, it'd be a good idea to either go ahead and think if you're going to replace them and put them back where the original ones were, or where you're going to mount the new ones. The next step for everybody is terrifying. You need to cut the connectors. You're gonna have to do it. Alright, let me give you a quick tutorial on how you're going to reconnect everything. This is called splicing. Take your wire cutters, get a decent amount, and pull off the excess, because obviously it's not going on the car. Just to show you a quick demonstration on how to do it. Alright, this is called a lineman splice. Two exposed ends. You're going to put them like an X. And then you're going to take it and turn it on top of each other like so. See how it kind of turns like that? And you are going to continue to turn them both until you have what would appear to be a single braid. Then you're going to take, I've got electrical tape, to be honest with you. I wish I had something different. They sell shrink wrap. If I was you, go with the shrink wrap. I was just being lazy today because the store I was at didn't have shrink wrap and they only had electrical tape. Long story short, I just didn't want to go to another place. I'm going to start at one end. Wrap it so that it's like that. And then you're going to carefully, if you can, wrap it end over end. You don't want a fatty caterpillar looking thing. You would like to have it as tight as possible. Boom. And now you have a connection. That is what you'll be doing from the car back to the horn. The horn has these two little male parts. You will need to get the female parts of those. These female parts fit right on the end, like that. So, how do we do that? I'm going to take the cord, once again, we don't need as much taken off, just a smidge of it. I'm going to pull it off. Female part has an entrance on there. We'll slide it in there, making sure that there is a fairly secure fit. This particular set has these little nabs in here. These are crimpers. And you will apply pressure down, and it will crimp this wire to this other wire. And now you are all set. You can now stick it on there and splice this other end into the end you just cut, and you should have it working. Alright, so now I've got them both hooked up. Like I said before, make sure the splices are good. Make sure that the cords will not be caught in anything when you're driving, and make sure that when the bumper goes back on that you do have clearance for everything. Alright, the moment of truth. Always, always test it out. It works. Now all we gotta do is put the bumper back on, make sure everything clears, and we're good to go. And that's how you install new horns.